Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we'll be talking about electric cars and how I am considering getting rid of one of the vehicles that I currently own to, well, I wouldn't necessarily say upgrade, but to transition over to an electric car. So I'm going to explain that in today's video and just give you guys some general updates. Now, this was originally going to be a video for the main channel, but I decided that I'd rather just continue to post reviews on the main channel and just put this update video on the second channel, since the second channel is just for fun and this video is just me talking for fun. So I think it all makes sense. Anyways, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Now, I haven't done an official update on the garage with the channel for like a few months, I think, which equates to decades in YouTube time. So let's just quickly go over this. So I still have the 2021 Ford Raptor that is wrapped bright green. I still have my 2021 Ram TRX that is wrapped bright orange. And also, I want to mention that I am a master parker because, like, look how close I am to this edge. And then, well, we got to pop over here. The TRX is, well, not against the wall, but it's like super far forward, and it's kind of just like wedged in here. Like, it doesn't look that impressive, but like, trust me, it's impressive. Anyways, I also still have the bright pink Rubicon 392 that I'm absolutely in love with. And yes, this was the vehicle that I originally got for my wife Elise, but then I decided that I liked it too much, so now it's my vehicle. And so she has a 2022 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro. In the meantime, this will be traded in pretty soon because we have another vehicle on order for her, and well, 4 cars is already way too much, and so 5 cars just, yeah, don't even want to go there. And so I will be getting rid of this for her new vehicle, and so she's actually going to be getting a new vehicle, and well, I still am stuck here with the Skittles, I guess. Now, the vehicle that I might be getting rid of the soonest is actually the Raptor. So I wasn't really going to make this public, but I figured that since this is a second channel video and nobody's really going to watch it, that it's okay for me to talk about it in this video. So I have been talking with Tuscany about potentially doing a Shelby Raptor build. Now, it's really hard to get Raptors right now because, well, everyone wants them and Ford's not building enough of them. But I know enough dealers that I probably will be able to source at least one that would work for them. If you guys don't know, my Raptor does not work to be converted to a Shelby Raptor because, first off, it has the wrong interior. It has the blue interior, and then it also has a 37 package. And they don't like to build Shelby Raptors off of 37 package Raptors. They would rather put the 37s on themselves and do their whole thing because they want everything to be standardized, which makes sense because they do put warranties on the Shelby Raptors. And so if my truck was different from all the other Shelby Raptors and something broke on my truck and they had a warranty on it, then yeah, that wouldn't exactly be like the best thing because, again, it's not standardized. So anyways, I have been talking to them about that, but I'm not exactly sure how feasible it is because, again, sourcing a Raptor is difficult, and just getting all the supplies to build a Shelby Raptor is also difficult right now. And so there is potential for that. If that doesn't happen, then I will be basically doing what I've been talking about over like the last forever and turn this into a Shelby Raptor without it being a Shelby Raptor. So I actually already have, as you guys can see, the chase rack. So I purchased this chase rack using Ford Pass Points. So like, this chase rack was free to me because I've bought so many Fords that I have so many Ford Pass Points that, yes, now I have a chase rack that's, well, sitting here in the back of my Raptor. And so I've got that. There's something that I can't talk about on the channel, but getting bumpers is not going to be an issue whatsoever. That's all I'm going to say. So I already have the chase rack. I already have bumpers on their way for the Raptor in the near future. And so all I would really have to do is just get lights for the chase rack for the bumpers as well. And then this would basically be a Shelby, and then obviously tune the Raptor. And this would basically be a Shelby Raptor because it already has 37s from the factory. And so I am leaning towards that because that is frankly a lot more affordable, and it seems like that might be the easier route to go with all the supply issues we have right now. So we're not going to spend any time on the Jeep because I am not selling this anytime soon. I will be doing an AEV kit on it though in the near future. I'm just waiting for some things to happen before I go and put the kit on the Wrangler, but that's staying. Now, as for the TRX, I have talked about selling this or not selling this back and forth. And so at this point, it's still somewhat up in the air, but I am considering trading in my TRX for an EV. I know I'm literally about to become the most hated person on the internet because I'm thinking about trading the coolest truck on the planet, a supercharged 6.2 liter V8 Baja truck for, well, yeah, an EV. But let me just like quickly give you guys an explanation as to why. Now, the first reason as to why I'm considering an EV is actually here in the backyard, and that is the fact that I have these things. If you don't know what those are solar panels, and all you need to know is because I have solar, that makes electricity extremely cheap. Now, the second reason is because I found that it's actually pretty inexpensive to upgrade my dinky little 120s, I think is what they are, to 240s. It's like a few $100 to do an outlet. And so it means that it would be pretty affordable for me to upgrade just one of these garage outlets to be able to charge an EV at a pretty efficient rate. Now, the number 3 reason is actually this little blue Hyundai here in the driveway, and it is a Hyundai Kona N. Now, I do not own this. This is a press car from Hyundai, and I've been super open with you guys on this subject with the channel, and that's the fact that I get press cars from the manufacturers. So basically, on an average week, I usually have 1, sometimes 2 cars from different manufacturers, and so my transportation is typically covered. And this is something that a lot of automotive journalists are not open about. They will basically just say that they're super unbiased, and when in reality, they're driving manufacturer cars all the time, and they pretty much, like, especially if it's a journalist that lives in California, they literally do not have to own a car. Like, they can have all their transportation covered by press cars because of how much access they have to press cars. Now, here in Utah, because of how many miles I have to drive between the different dealerships, that doesn't work for me because the press cars do have a mileage limit. So I do still have to drive my personal vehicles from time to time, but not nearly as much as I used to. So in a typical year, I'll usually put about 15,000 miles on press cars and about 15,000 miles on my personal vehicles. Again, give or take a few thousand miles in terms of air with that whole thing. But what that means is that I'm not driving my vehicles nearly as much as what I was in the past. Now, I suppose the 4th reason is space. So you guys can see, obviously, the garage is filled up with the bright neon cars. But you can imagine when I have 2 press cars instead of just 1 like I have this week, then the driveway is going to have 3 cars because either one of these is going to be the driveway, or typically Elisa's car is going to be in the driveway because she's in and out all the time. And so it's easiest to have her in the driveway right now. That'll probably change in the wintertime. Don't worry. I'm a gentleman. But anyways, the point that I'm trying to make is I obviously have limited space, so like technically if I wanted to like fill this up and make this into like a parking lot, I could have essentially this is 2 cars right here, so I could have like 6 cars on the driveway, which would be absolutely crazy. But yeah, it would be nice to kind of free up some space, aka getting rid of a massive truck and replacing it with a much smaller vehicle, because even though I'm still gonna have the same amount of cars, having a smaller car, it does help a little bit, okay? Now, I suppose the 5th and final thing would be bringing in a new audience for the channel. So obviously with the vehicles that I own right now, I have an audience that loves pickup trucks, muscle cars, and just crazy off-roaders and SUVs and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like it's the exact opposite audience to what I would have if I owned an EV. And so I just think it would bring in a new audience, completely different people. And so, you know, it could potentially help out the channel. Now, I actually want to get into a few things that are common reasons as to why people get EVs that aren't reasons as to why I am looking at potentially getting an EV. So first off, environmental reasons. So yes, EVs are becoming more environmentally friendly, but they aren't ultimately like super environmentally friendly. Obviously, like the mining of the minerals required for the batteries, yeah, we don't even need to really, like, everyone already knows about that. And so I'm not going to pretend like I'm getting this because I'm trying to save the planet, because in reality, if I really wanted to save the planet, it wouldn't be by purchasing an EV. It would be by not living in a regular American house and driving cars. It would basically be by, I don't know, me moving out into the middle of the woods and doing, like, literally, yeah, living off the land or something like that. That would be the thing for me to be the most environmentally friendly, right? Not buying an EV. So not doing it for environmental reasons. And then the other thing is I'm not doing it to save money, because EVs don't really save you any money. There's the argument that, oh, well, electricity is cheaper than gas. And I mentioned that as one of my points at the beginning of this video. But at the same time, EVs on average are more expensive than their gas counterparts. And then on top of that, they typically depreciate quite substantially. And so if I purchase an EV overall, I probably would end up losing money. And so those are 2 common reasons, like I said, that people purchase EVs, but those aren't reasons why I would purchase one. I purposely left out the 2 main reasons as to why I'm considering purchasing an EV or just a different type of car compared to what I own currently. And the first reason is there's a lot of things in cars that I didn't realize I really enjoyed that now I realize I really enjoy. And first off, the zippiness of an EV, where you can just like go around people super fast because instant power, instant torque. I really like that because there's a lot of stupid drivers here in Utah, and I commute a lot, like I said, over 30 30,000 miles per year. And so that aspect's nice. A lot of the self-driving tech you get with EVs is also really nice. Yes, you can get that in regular gas-powered cars too. So like I am considering some options that are regular gas-powered cars as well. And I'll just mention some of those quickly at the end of the video. And you know, just again, the overall comfort, like I never liked luxury cars in the past, but now that I'm driving over 30,000 miles a year to film these car reviews, I kind of like luxury cars more because like being comfortable when I'm putting that many miles on vehicles is just really important. And so, yeah, those priorities have kind of changed recently with the changes of the channel. And then the other thing is the fact that the vehicles that I own aren't nearly as important as they used to be. When I first started the channel, the vehicles that I purchased like really elevated the channel. But now the purchasing of cars and like posting that on YouTube is so oversaturated. Like everyone has a YouTube channel and everyone posts the cars that they buy on their YouTube channel. Whether or not they're actually making money doesn't matter. The videos are out there. And so what matters for me content-wise now is just reviews. That's all I focus on because that is what people want to watch, and that is where the money's at this point. And so, you know, me owning the Ram TRX, for example, it doesn't do as much for me as it did, you know, almost 2 years ago when I purchased it, basically. So with all this being taken into consideration, what this means for me as an enthusiast is I get to buy what I want rather than buying cars that I think are going to do good on the channel, because that doesn't really matter as much as it used to in the past. And so obviously, well, we got to keep something for the wife. So the wife gets the 4Runner for now, and then she has the car that she has on order. And so again, we got to have something for her. Now for me, I love off-roading, so that's why I am going to continue to have at least an off-roader in the garage. I love to do the high-speed stuff, so I think the Raptor right now is the best for that. And the reason I'm saying that is not because the TRX is not capable. Like, I am not in that camp that thinks that the Raptor is better than the TRX, because they both have their upsides and downsides. The TRX has an amazing powertrain, and it's so good off-road. Like, the handling and everything is just fantastic. The Raptor, on the other hand, is just slightly more comfortable just because of the tuning with the shocks, and also the fact that it just has slightly bigger tires. But the biggest thing for me is there's a ton of aftermarket support for the Raptor for off-road modifications. The TRX doesn't have like anything, because everyone just does, you know, on-road builds with it, because nobody really takes TRXs off-road. And so it kind of pushes me in the camp of keeping the Raptor over the TRX, because there's a lot more that I can do with the Raptor. And then the Wrangler, of course, like I said, never going to get rid of it because it's such a cool Jeep. It's such a cool color, right? So special with the 6.4 Hemi. But the bigger thing is solid front and rear axles. Like, this has such unique driving experience both on-road and off-road that nothing else can like come close to it in today's market. Even the Ford Bronco doesn't have the same experience that you have in a Wrangler. And so yeah, just having a crawler and a high-speed off-roader, I think that makes sense. And so that's why, you know, having two high-speed off-roaders at this point, it just doesn't make sense anymore. Now, my video sense is tingling and telling me that the runtime is getting a little bit too long. So I just quickly want to go over some of the cars that I'm considering replacing the TRX with. And I do want to mention that some of these are EVs, some of these are not EVs. And this is not going to happen anytime soon. Like, I am 6 months, a year, maybe 2 years out from doing anything at this point. Like, I really want to think on this for a very long time before I make a decision, because I plan on keeping this car for quite some time. But anyway, some of these cars are also more expensive than the TRX, which makes me cringe like quite a bit. You guys know I'm a huge G-Wagon fan. That's a nice luxury car and kind of has like the off-road theme. The Audi Rs6 Avant. Now, I've never reviewed one, so I want to drive one first before I like think more about that. The RS GT Tron, I actually got a chance to review one recently. Absolutely loved it. Like, so impressed with that car. And yeah, again, cringing because those are more expensive and I hate spending money. Anyways, cars that are actually less expensive, the Ford Mustang Mach-E GT, super impressive. The new BMW i4 M50, that's another really impressive car as well. And then something that I haven't reviewed yet is actually a Jeep. So Jeep is going to release an electric version of the Wrangler. They're calling the Jeep Recon. That one might be a cool one because it's like a fully new car, fully electric as well. And so those are kind of like the ones that are somewhat on my radar. But again, this is going to be a very long process for me to decide, because again, first off, the TRX is my baby. I absolutely love this truck. And so if I am going to be getting rid of this truck, it better like really, really be worthwhile. And I better keep the car for a long time, because yeah, I'll probably cry when I get rid of the TRX, to be honest. Like, it's an emotional thing. Like, I've had this truck for almost 2 years at this point, and it was like, it's like the dream truck, seriously. And so yeah, That's the thing. Anyways, that's going to sum things up. If you guys have any suggestions, now I do need to mention, it doesn't have to be EV, obviously, because some of those cars I mentioned aren't EVs, but it does have to be smaller in size. I don't want to have another full-size pickup truck, so a mid-size pickup truck that could potentially work, but just, you know, SUVs or sedans in general also work. Again, more towards the luxury side of things, because I just want something that's a little bit more comfortable with how many miles I'm going to be commuting. And, you know, next year it looks like, with how things are stacking up, I might be driving even more miles, close to like 40,000 miles a year. So yeah, anyways, I'll see you.